I wish I was happier when I had to put that one up here, but we're back here on Turner Chi-Town, 773-966-2494, with you till 6 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Well, he is here now, folks. The host of Whole Nother Level. The one, the only, and rabid Eagles fan, Eric Wilson. Eric, how you doing today?
Hey, Jake, man. Always a pleasure to be with you, brother. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How about you?
Man, I couldn't be in. I'm in a great mood, man. The only thing that would make this better is I was actually with you there live today so that you could see the expression on my face when it comes to talking about Philadelphia rolling into the Windy City
definitely.
This Monday night.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tonight, I have to say. I have to say for Monday night, at Soldier Field. So I'm already looking forward to it. But, man, I got to tell you, I got to give you props, but we talked about this last week. What did we say about Carson Wentz? A 101 quarterback rating and 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Eric, what do you got to say about Carson Wentz?
Listen, this is exactly why the Philadelphia Eagle organization went up and drafted him number 2. Now, granted, we knew that Los Angeles had the opportunity to get him, so that was the risk that we took. However, we knew that if we could get him, he would be the quarterback that we needed him to be. Now, a lot of people this week have said to me, you know what? It was Cleveland. It was RG3. Hasn't played in the year. Everybody expects the Browns to be the Browns. And you know, RG3 suffering an injury. I mean, this is just typical of the Browns organization. People thought Hugh Jackson was going to be able to come in and just, you know, kind of revitalize that team. And we shall see how things go.
Okay.
But man,
I was just about to stop you there because let's keep this in mind here, too. Like, Sashi Brown is brand new to this. Hugh Jackson is brand new. They ditched all of the draft picks of the last 5 years, and now they're putting together their own team. It's going to take time for this Browns team to become something special. So let's give it some time here. But, I mean, I was very impressed, but I wasn't really surprised by this either. 3 sacks against that Browns offensive line. Actually pretty decent there. Jim Schwartz already putting his stamp on it. You're ranked 8th in the NFL in pass defense. What has been the story here? You guys signed Rodney McLeod, who looked good last week, especially when you guys got rid of Byron Maxwell. What do you got to say about this Eagles defense already?
Listen, this Eagles defense is the defense that I've been wanting for so many years. It's a defense that, and I said this on my show, Whole Nother Level. You can check us out Saturdays and Tuesdays on Spreaker.com. Right. Shameless plug, I know, but
plug away.
What I said was, this is starting to remind me of a defense from back in the day when we had the Hugh Douglases of the world, the Jeremiah Trotters of the world. We just need to find a solid corner to replace B. Dock, and I'm telling you, this defense is going to look very similar to that one.
So you think this is kind of like the late Jim Johnson used to do back in the day? I mean, that was a loaded defense. I remember that as well. I'm glad that you didn't go back to the defense for Buddy Ryan. I was like, oh boy, is he going back to like Jerome Brown, Reggie White here? Wait a minute.
Not yet.
All right, so you're coming into Chicago. They're coming off their loss of 23-14. You're coming off a win now. What are you expecting? What are you expecting out of this Bears team coming in?
Listen, Soldier Field, Monday night, the lights are bright. I expect the Bears to completely rebound from what happened to them Sunday against Houston.
Yeah, and I think Carson Wentz is going to just have a small reality check. But I can't lie about this. I know I got wrong last week, this pick here, but I said that the Bears were going to play a complete game and make this fun. I think they actually will make this a good game for 4 quarters, and I think it might come down to a field goal.
I agree with you. I really do. Speaking of that, man, how many kickers last week just could not get the ball through the upright?
Blair Walsh.
I mean, I was like, are you kidding me?
Blair Walsh, Vikings, he missed 2 kicks. I couldn't believe it.
Graham Gano, opening night, missed 1. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were several kickers who I was like, isn't this your job? What were you training for all in the offseason?
That's a good question. Are they even training?
Like this?
Are they even training, Eric? I don't know if they're even training. I mean, the only one I saw I saw a couple of good ones. You know, I saw Janikowski and I saw Crosby, and even Connor Barth didn't even kick a field goal last week. So the Bear fans have no idea what they're going to get out of him. But what are you expecting out of your kicker? I believe it's Caleb Sturgis still.
Yes. I'm just hoping that, again, like you said, if the game comes down to a field goal, I truly hope that both kickers are on their game, because if this is going to be the year of botched kicks, or this is going to be the year of, taking us to the brink of what's going to happen, and then one team who we think is going to win ultimately loses based on the field goal kicker, I'm telling you, drafting kickers is going to become a priority in future drafts.
Right, and I think we've already talked a little too much about kickers here, but what Bears player are you looking for the most to set up for?
Honestly, who I'm looking to pretty much have a solid day, and for your Bears, honestly, I'm looking at Alshon Jeffrey, and I'm looking at Kevin White. I'm looking at both of those wide receivers to have big nights on Monday night, because our corners are still young, and I don't think that they really know the position well enough to be able to play against a Kevin White, or I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's okay. You're an Eagles fan. Sometimes you do lose your train of thought. What impact can Ryan Matthews have on this game? He had 73 yards last week. The Bears gave up 123 to the Texans and Lamar Miller. So what are you seeing out of Ryan Matthews?
Actually, he had 77 yards. Not to correct you, but
little counterpunch there. Nicely done.
But what I see with Ryan Matthews, if he can stay healthy, he is going to be our first and second down back. I truly expect that Darren Sproles is going to be more and more utilized as the game goes on. What I will say to you is this: be careful with your Bears defense, because if you think that Ryan Matthews is going to slip, he will punch it straight up the middle through your defense.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I think you're absolutely right on that. Nelson Aguilar had a good game last week. Actually started to show that poise that he had at USC. What corner for the Bears do you think will be the easiest to go against with Nelson Aguilar?
That's a good question.
I want to say Porter.
I honestly don't know, because both of your corners showed me something again a game against Houston. So for me, I was like, it's hard. It really is hard to kind of pinpoint who's going to be the weaker side for that Bears defense.
Well,
I really won't give it to either one of them.
Well, I will just plainly say it right now, because according to the Chicago Sun-Times right now, where Kyle Fuller is playing, that's up for grabs right now. So I am surprised that you didn't bring that one up. But you know something? I mean, I know that this Eagles team is young, and I know they're rebuilding with Doug Peterson and all that stuff, but I really just like the makeup of this team rebuilding right now compared to some other teams here. But what really impresses you about Carson Wentz in the pocket?
He's poised. He's patient. He's reading all the options. He's not sticking to just one side of the field versus the other. He's able to throw the deep ball if necessary, and his mobility is the biggest thing that I have appreciated and enjoyed about him.
I think he was the most pro-ready quarterback. I mean, look at the Rams. They don't even have Jared Goff ready and not even dressing, for goodness sakes. But, Eric, I want you to stay on the line here for a moment, okay, because we need to get to our ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update. So stay on the line. We're going to have more with Eric Wilson, host of Whole Nother Level and rabid Eagles fan, in just a moment. But until then, here is your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 5:30, I'm Jay Turner with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. It could be party time in Wrigleyville tonight. The magic number is at 1, and tonight possibly the Cubs could be celebrating their 4th NL Central title with a win tonight against the hapless Brewers. Cubs took care of business in St. Louis, taking 2 of 3 with Anthony Rizzo smashing 2 homers, bringing his season total to 31. Mike Montgomery goes for the Cubbies, while Jimmy Nelson goes for the Brew Crew. First pitch is at 7:05 p.m. at Wrigley Field. The Cubs are 93-52. Well, Carlos Sanchez got the win for the White Sox today. They won that one 2-1. After, in the bottom of the fourth, Jose Abreu nailed his 24th homer of the year. The White Sox now have 71 wins on the season. Yay! Week 2 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with an AFC East battle between the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. They will be in their color rush uniforms as well. Both teams are 0-1 on the season and kick off at 7:30 p.m. on CBS 2. Bears are Monday night bound for Vic Fangio's defense. Their focus is on Eagles rookie quarterback Carson Wentz. Bears only punched up 2 sacks against the Texans, but gave up 5 to their defense. Wentz's quarterback rating was 101 and threw 2 touchdowns in his season debut versus the Browns in a 29-10 victory. Kickoff is Monday at 7:30 p.m. at Soldier Field. And the Raiders could be Vegas bound sooner than later, as an 11-member oversight committee recommended $750 million in public money during a NFL stadium, pending approval from Nevada's governor and legislation. This has been your Chicagoland Sports Radio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information, go to beonair.com. I'm Jake Turner. All right, we're back here on Turner's Chi-Town, 773-966-2494, with you till 6 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. And, of course, I got my man Eric Wilson from Whole Nother Level as we continue our conversation about the Bears and the Eagles. What are you expecting out of Jeremy Langford for the Eagles defense, Eric?
Jeremy Langford. Now, there is a very interesting individual. And I say that because he just he's an intangible. You know what I mean? He definitely has the it factor. We just have to see it.
Right. I agree that he does, but I mean, 17 rushes, 57 yards last week, 3.4 yards per carry. I'm not quite sold on him yet, but the running game was pretty much DOA for the Bears last week. So Jeremy Langford should have an opportunity, but what does this name sound to you? What does this make you feel? Fletcher Cox got his first sack of the year last year, got a big payday in the offseason. What can Fletcher Cox do to try to distract this Bears offense?
Listen, when you talk about number 91, you put him in the conversation with some of the greats, and you spoke of them earlier. You spoke of the Reggie White. I spoke of Hugh Douglas and Jeremiah Trotter. This man is the leader of this defense. We will go as far as Fletcher Cox will take us. And as long as he brings that intensity, as long as he brings that drive and that hunger, this Eagles defense is going to be a top 10 defense for sure.
I agree. I absolutely agree, because keep this in mind, the Bears' offensive line gave up 5 sacks last week. And this is exactly when they signed Josh Sitton. I mean, I watched Bobby Massey and Charles Leno Jr., and my head imploded of how atrocious they were off those blitzes, off the speed off the edge coming at them. And Massey had no trouble screwing up. And then Charles Leno, when J.J. Watt lined up against him, Watt pretty much pushed him down and made him into his own personal pincushion. So this offensive line has a challenge coming up here against this Eagles defense. And I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know why, Eric, but I got to take the Bears in this one, and I think they're going to win this one 20-17. Before you go, what do you think?
Well, listen, again, it is very simply like this. Carson Wentz, first road game, Monday night, hostile territory.
Right.
So we will get to see what the rookie is all about. Now, if he can compose himself, and if he can get his stuff together, very much like he did week 1 when he had everybody around him,
exactly.
He will be
Give me your
okay.
prediction.
My final score, 24-21.
Wow. All right. That was Eric Wilson from Whole Nother Level. You can catch him every Saturday, and he always has that great podcast on Speaker.com. He also loves to do that Facebook Live. Eric, good luck to your Eagles on Monday night. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.